Have you ever had a moment where one simple thought stopped you in your tracks? A moment where the noise faded, the confusion paused, and everything finally made sense? Most people wait their whole lives for some big break. They chase success, or they hustle, they stress. But what if everything could change with just one idea, one shift in how you think, how you speak, and how you show up in the world? Let me tell you something powerful. It wasn't a degree, a connection, or a lucky chance that changed my path. It was a thought. And this thought hit me like a wave. What if my words are shaping my world? Not just the words I say out loud, but the words I repeat to myself, the words I use in stress, the words I whisper in silence, the words I let define who I am. That one realization flipped a switch, because suddenly I saw it. My entire life was a reflection of the conversations I was having with others, and more importantly, with myself. And here's the truth no one tells you. Your life doesn't change when circumstances change. Your life changes when your communication changes. The way you speak creates your energy. The way you speak commands respect. And the way you speak either lifts your future or locks it away. Now, I want you to stay with me till the end of this video, because I promise by the time you reach the final words, something in you will shift. You'll understand why the most powerful people in the world don't scream, they don't talk over others, and they never chase attention. They lead it with their voice, and so can you. But first, let's go back. Think about the moments in your life when you felt stuck, small, invisible, powerless. What was your voice like in those moments? Were you afraid to speak up? Did your voice shake when you tried to explain yourself? Did you hold back what you really wanted to say? Now think deeper. In those moments, what were you saying to yourself? Probably something like, I can't do this, no one listens to me, I'm not ready yet, I'm not like them. You see, the human brain is wired to believe what it hears the most. And if the loudest voice in your life is self-doubt, then you will live a life of hesitation. Even if your potential is massive, it won't matter, because you'll never speak up to claim it. That was me for years. Holding back, waiting, watching others speak like they were born for it, while I felt like I had nothing to offer. Until that one thought crashed into my life. What if my words are shaping my world? And I tested it. I started talking differently, not just to others, but to myself. I stopped saying, I'm not good at this, and started saying, I'm learning fast. I stopped saying, I'm nervous, and started saying, I'm ready. I stopped saying, what if I fail? And started saying, what if I fly? Little by little, my world shifted, because words are not just sounds, they're signals. And when you speak with power, you send a signal to your brain, your body, and everyone around you. This person believes, this person leads, this person matters. So before we go deeper, I want you to remember this. It's not about having the perfect words. It's about having the right energy behind your words. It's not about sounding smart. It's about sounding sure. It's not about being loud. It's about being clear. If you stay with me through this journey, you'll walk away with something stronger than motivation. You'll walk away with tools, real psychological tools, that leaders use every single day to speak, to inspire, and to move people to action. And it all begins with this one thought: my words are shaping my world. Let that sink in. Because if your life has felt stuck, flat, or invisible, maybe the world isn't ignoring you. Maybe you've just been whispering. And now, it's time to speak with power. Most people think communication is just talking. But real communication, transformational communication, is something deeper. It's not just what you say, it's what people feel when you say it. You've probably met people who speak with simple words, but their presence fills the room. They don't need big vocabulary, they don't need to raise their voice, and yet everyone listens. That's not talent. That's alignment. When your thoughts, your words, and your belief are in sync, people feel it. Here's what most don't realize. Communication is energy transfer. When you speak, you're not just giving information, you're passing emotion. You're either lifting people or losing them. And the truth is, you do this every single day. Even when you're not speaking, your tone, your posture, your choice of words, your timing, all of it communicates what you believe about yourself. And the world responds to that belief. If your words sound uncertain, people will doubt you. If your words sound apologetic, people will overlook you. If your words sound rushed, people will assume you're unsure. But when you speak with calm, with strength, with intention, people pause, they pay attention, because deep down, humans are wired to follow clarity. In a world full of noise, clarity becomes leadership. And the way you speak can turn confusion into conviction, for yourself and for others. That's the real power of communication. It doesn't just move conversations forward, it moves lives forward. So ask yourself, are your words building trust or breaking it? Are they creating movement or just filling silence? Because whether you lead a team or lead your own life, one truth will always stand. The way you speak is the way the world treats you. Speak like it matters, because it always does. Have you ever said something important and felt completely ignored? You spoke from the heart. You explained clearly. You tried your best. But no one really listened. No one truly understood. It's frustrating, it's painful, and it's more common than you think. Here's the truth. Most people don't get heard because they're not speaking from a place of strength. They're speaking from a place of insecurity. They're trying to prove something, trying to impress, trying to get approval. But here's the problem. When your words come from fear, people can feel it. They might not say it out loud, but deep down they sense it. And once they feel hesitation in your voice, they tune out, because energy speaks before your mouth does. That's why communication isn't just about expression. It's about connection. And connection begins with certainty. Not perfection, not memorized speeches. Just honest, grounded certainty in what you say and why you're saying it. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't have to dominate to be heard. But you do have to be anchored. When your voice comes from a place of self-trust, it carries a weight that can't be ignored. That's what separates leaders from talkers. Leaders speak to serve, not to impress. They speak to awaken people, not just to be liked. And here's something even deeper. The world mirrors back what you believe about yourself. So if you think your words don't matter, they won't. If you think no one cares, they won't care. If you think your voice is small, the world will treat it that way. But when you believe your message has value, others start to believe it too. Your voice matters, but only when you believe it first. Leadership doesn't begin when you get a title. It begins the moment you speak with purpose. Anyone can talk. Most people do. They fill time with noise. They repeat what they've heard. They speak to be noticed. But leaders, real leaders, only speak when they have something meaningful to say. And when they do, the room listens. Because purpose has a sound. It's calm. It's focused. It's direct. You can feel it in their words. You can sense it in their silence. It's not rushed, not reactive, not emotional. It's intentional. That's what makes a voice powerful. It's not the volume, it's the direction. Purposeful speech cuts through the clutter. It makes people stop and think. It inspires clarity. It creates momentum. But here's the secret. You don't have to wait for a leadership role to speak like a leader. You can lead right now by being clear on why you're speaking. Before every conversation, ask yourself, what am I here to give? What do I want to leave behind in this person's mind? What value can I bring with my words? That's what makes communication a tool for change, not just conversation. Because when you speak with purpose, people stop doubting you. They start believing in you. They feel safer, stronger, clearer, because you're clear. It's a psychological trigger. Humans naturally follow those who speak with conviction and direction. It gives them a sense of order in a world full of uncertainty. So the next time you open your mouth, don't just speak to speak. Speak to move something forward. Speak to plant a seed. Speak to uplift. Speak to remind others who they really are. That's how you stop being a voice in the crowd and start becoming a voice that creates impact. People think influence comes from being the smartest person in the room. It doesn't. It comes from knowing how to reach the heart before the mind. Because here's what psychology tells us. Humans don't take action from logic alone. They move when they feel something. You can give someone all the facts, all the data, all the reasons. But if they don't feel connected, they won't move, they won't believe, they won't change. Emotion is the true driver of action. And that's what great communicators understand. They don't speak to inform, they speak to transform. They choose words that stir emotion. They use stories instead of statistics. They tap into fears, hopes, desires, the core of human nature. Because influence isn't about manipulation, it's about resonance. It's about saying what people feel but can't express. It's about showing them that they're not alone in their struggle. It's about helping them believe a better future is possible and they can be part of it. When you speak like that, you don't just inform, you ignite. Think about someone who truly influenced you, not just impressed you. Someone who changed how you think, how you live. Chances are they didn't just make sense. They made you feel something powerful, a truth, a challenge, a sense of calling. That's the psychology of influence. It's emotional, it's human, and it's available to anyone who chooses their words with care and speaks from a place of service. So when you speak, don't aim to be right. Aim to connect. Aim to awaken. Aim to remind people of the strength they forgot they had. Because in the end, people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. And when you speak to the heart, you lead the mind. Most people think confidence is built by saying more, talking fast, talking loud, filling every second with words. But real confidence is born in silence. Because silence doesn't mean you don't know what to say. Silence means you're not afraid to pause. You're not chasing approval. You're not rushing to fill space just to feel important. In fact, the most powerful people in the world are often the quietest in the room because they've mastered their energy. They know silence speaks louder than noise when it's backed by presence. Psychology proves this. When someone speaks and then pauses, really pauses, the brain of the listener lights up. It leans in. It pays closer attention. Why? Because silence signals control. And control signals power, a calm voice, a slow pace, a thoughtful pause. These things create tension, and tension creates attention. Most people speak to feel confident, but true leaders pause because they're confident. They trust the space between their words. They trust the weight of their message. And that trust spreads. Because here's the truth. If you rush through your words, others will rush past them. But if you slow down, if you let the message breathe, people will feel the meaning. Confidence isn't about saying more. It's about making every word count. So the next time you speak, don't fear silence. Use it. Let it carry your message. Let it frame your voice. Let it tell the world that you're not here to chase attention. You're here to own the moment. Because when your words are wrapped in calm, people don't just hear you, they believe you. Your voice is not just a tool. It's your identity. Every time you speak, you're not just delivering words. You're showing people who you are, what you believe, and how much you value yourself. The problem is, most people don't realize this. They speak casually, carelessly. They speak in ways that shrink them instead of lifting them. They say things like, I'm just saying, sorry, but maybe I'm wrong. These are not harmless phrases. These are signals. Signals that you doubt your own voice, that you're asking for permission to exist. And the world picks up on that immediately. Psychology confirms it. The way you speak trains others on how to treat you. If you sound unsure, people will assume you lack authority. If you apologize for your thoughts, people will question your value. But when you speak with clarity, when you choose words that reflect your strength, the world responds differently. Your voice tells people whether to follow you or forget you. So, how do you reclaim your voice? Start by removing hesitation from your language. Replace I think with I believe. Replace maybe with here's what I see. Replace sorry with silence unless you truly mean it. Speak as if your words matter because they do. Every sentence is a chance to either raise your identity or bury it. This is more than motivation. It's self-definition. You are telling the world how to remember you. Do you want to be remembered as unsure or unforgettable? Don't let old habits shrink your presence. Don't let fear filter your truth. Your voice is your signature. Make it strong. Make it confident. Make it yours. Because when your voice rises, your life rises with it. Most people don't realize it, but the words you speak are building your future. Every sentence you say becomes a thread in the fabric of your reality. Speak with fear, and you create a fearful life. Speak with vision, and you begin to walk toward that vision. This isn't just philosophy. It's neuroscience. Your brain listens to your voice more than anyone else's. The words you say literally rewire your thinking patterns. They become beliefs. Beliefs become decisions. And those decisions shape your path. That's why one careless sentence repeated over and over, like I'm not good enough, can become a mental prison. And one powerful sentence, like I'm built for this, can unlock potential you forgot you had. You're not just speaking to others, you're speaking to your own nervous system, to your inner compass, to your identity. So here's the challenge. What kind of world are your words creating? Are you speaking life or limitation? Do your words empower your future or protect your comfort? This is where transformation begins, not with some massive change, but with a daily decision to speak with intention. Replace "I can't" with "I'm learning." Replace "this always happens to me" with "this is teaching me something new." Replace one day with day one. Because language is a mirror. If your life feels stuck, look at your vocabulary. If your energy feels low, look at your internal dialogue. Great communicators don't just speak well. They speak truth that lifts reality. They declare what they want before they see it. They affirm their values before others recognize them. They shape the environment with their message. And so can you. Change your words, and you begin to change your world. Most people think leadership is about talking, giving instructions, being heard. But real leadership begins with something quieter and far more powerful: listening. Because how you listen reveals how deeply you respect others. And respect is the foundation of influence. When most people listen, they're not really listening. They're waiting to reply. They're formulating answers. They're defending their ego. But leaders listen with full presence, no distractions, no assumptions, no rush. They're not just hearing words, they're hearing what's behind the words: the fear, the frustration, the dream, the unspoken emotion. And here's what psychology teaches us. Being deeply heard creates safety, and safety creates trust. And trust? That's the birthplace of all true influence. Because people don't follow perfect communicators. They follow those who make them feel seen. Want to lead better? Stop thinking about what to say next. Start paying attention to what's being said now. Make eye contact, even in silence. Nod with intention. Ask deeper questions like, "What do you mean by that?" Or, "What matters most to you here?" These are small shifts, but they carry enormous weight. Because when someone feels fully listened to, they begin to listen to you. Leadership is not about having the loudest voice. It's about creating the deepest connection. And sometimes the greatest way to speak is to stay silent long enough to understand. Because understanding is rare. And in a world starving for attention, people remember those who gave them the gift of being heard. So listen with presence, listen with empathy. Listen not just to respond, but to elevate. Because when people feel understood, they lean in, they open up, and they trust your voice, not because it's loud, but because it's earned. You walk into a room, you haven't said a single word, and yet people already feel something about you. That's not magic, that's energy. Before words ever leave your mouth, your body is already communicating. Your posture, your eyes, your presence, your stillness, or your tension. It all speaks loudly. This is why some people can command a space without saying a word, while others speak and still go unnoticed. Because energy speaks first, and people respond to how you make them feel, not just what you say. Psychology proves it. We make decisions about trust, respect, and authority within seconds, based entirely on nonverbal cues. So if you walk in with doubt, with slumped shoulders, with a scattered mind, your message is already weakened before you even open your mouth. But walk in grounded, calm, and clear, and people will feel it. They'll pay attention differently. They'll lean in without even realizing it. Your energy is your presence, and presence is power. You can't fake it, or you can't perform it, you have to become it. That means doing the inner work before you speak, breathing deeply, centering your intention, choosing to show up with conviction, not for show, but for truth. This is what sets real leaders apart. They don't just know what to say, they carry the energy of belief behind every word. And that energy becomes contagious, because people don't follow scripts. They follow certainty. They follow calm. They follow energy that feels safe, strong, and clear. So before you worry about perfect words, fix your energy. Before you chase the right sentence, choose the right state. Because when your inner world is aligned, your outer communication becomes magnetic. Speak with energy that leads, not follows. And the world will feel your presence even before it hears your voice. Emotion is powerful, but only when you control it. Most people either hide their feelings or get ruled by them. They speak from a place of reaction, not reflection. And when that happens, their message gets lost in the noise of their emotion. But leaders, they don't shut down emotion. They channel it. They feel deeply, but they speak clearly. They carry passion, but deliver it with precision. They don't explode, they express. And that's the difference between emotional chaos and emotional impact. Psychology reveals that people are drawn to those who show just enough emotion to feel human, but not so much that it becomes overwhelming. It's a balance. And it comes from maturity. Because when you speak with anger, desperation, or panic, you may be right, but you lose influence. When you speak with grounded intensity, people don't just hear you, they believe you. That's why some voices ignite rooms. They're calm but filled with purpose. You can feel the fire, but it's focused. And focus creates respect. So ask yourself, what emotion is driving your message? If it's fear, pause. If it's ego, step back. But if it's purpose, let it speak. Let your voice carry the quiet fire of someone who knows why they're speaking. Let it rise with conviction, not volume. Let it carry emotion that lifts, not drains. This is how you inspire without shouting. This is how you move people without pressure. This is how you lead without force. Control your emotions, not by hiding them, but by harnessing them. Because a calm voice with purpose has more power than a loud voice with no direction. Speak with heart, but guide it with wisdom. Because when emotion becomes strength, not weakness, your voice becomes unforgettable. Most people speak to be admired. They use fancy words. Overcomplicate simple thoughts. Try to sound smarter, wiser, more impressive than they really feel inside. But here's the truth. People don't need to be impressed. They need to be empowered. And empowerment doesn't come from your vocabulary. It comes from your intention.
Great communicators don't speak to elevate themselves.
They speak to lift others. They don't seek applause. They spark belief. Because when you speak from the heart, not from ego, people don't just listen, they grow. Psychology proves it. The human brain responds more positively to messages that feel inclusive and encouraging, rather than hierarchical or intimidating. That's why the most powerful messages often feel the simplest, because they're real, because they reach, because they say what people didn't even know they needed to hear. So next time you speak, don't try to sound perfect. Try to sound true. Drop the mask. Drop the need to impress. Speak like someone who actually cares. Say things that give people hope. Say things that remind them they're not broken. Say things that stir strength, not shame. Because when your words build others up, they remember you, not for your image, but for your impact. And that's leadership. It's not about being the center of attention. It's about being the spark that lights someone else's fire. So stop worrying about sounding good enough. Start focusing on being clear, being present, and being real, because the world has enough noise. What it needs is your truth. Speak to empower, and you'll never have to chase influence. It will follow you, because your voice gave people back their own. You've probably heard the same motivational phrases over and over. Believe in yourself. Keep going. Don't give up. And maybe you've thought, I already know this, but here's what most people miss. Repetition isn't the problem, it's the process. Because your mind doesn't believe something the first time it hears it. It believes what it hears again and again, especially from your own voice. That's why great leaders, coaches, and communicators repeat their core message constantly, not because they lack ideas, but because they know belief is built in layers. Psychologically, the brain resists new truths. It clings to what feels familiar, even if it's painful. So to change that inner script, repetition is the key. When you speak words of strength often enough, your nervous system starts to believe them. When you repeat powerful ideas, they begin to overwrite the doubt. It's not hype, it's rewiring. So don't be afraid to say the same truth more than once. Don't worry about sounding redundant when the message is real, because every repetition is a drop in the well of someone's transformation. This is why mantras work, why affirmations stick, why a short sentence, spoken daily, can change a lifetime of insecurity. You're not just reminding others. You're training your own mind to follow strength instead of fear. Say it again, you're capable. You're not too late. You are being prepared for something greater. Say it until your voice becomes conviction. Say it until your doubt gets quieter. Say it until others say it with you, because repetition turns a whisper into a war cry. Speak your message. and then speak it again, not to fill space, but to plant belief. Because what you repeat becomes what you remember, and what you remember becomes what you become. You can have the perfect words, the perfect timing, the perfect message, but if your presence is missing, your impact disappears. Because people don't just listen to your words, they feel your state. And presence is the rarest state of all. Most people are somewhere else, in their heads, in their fears, in their past or future. But when you're truly present, fully here, fully now, people notice. Because presence is power, and it's felt, not faked. You don't need to perform, you don't need to force. You just need to show up with your whole self, grounded, calm, focused. Psychologists call this attentional control. It's your ability to stay connected to the moment, even under pressure, even when eyes are on you, even when your heart is racing. It's not about perfection, it's about connection. And presence creates the deepest connection of all. People trust those who are present. People follow those who don't flinch when it's quiet. People remember those who make them feel like they matter because they were fully there. Think about it. Some of the most powerful moments in your life weren't about what someone said, but how present they were with you. That's the gift. That's the influence. So train your presence, slow your breath. Feel your body. Let go of the future for a moment. Let go of judgment. Be still. Be here. Be real. Because the one who owns the moment owns the room. And the one who commands presence doesn't need to chase influence. It comes to them. Remember, presence is not just a state. It's a message. It says, I'm not running. I'm not hiding. I'm here. And that is magnetic. This isn't just about communication. This is about transformation. Because when you learn to speak like a leader, not with volume, but with vision, you don't just influence others, you change yourself. Your voice carries more than sound. It carries your self-worth, your truth, your future. Every time you choose clarity over confusion, every time you speak to lift instead of impress, every time you anchor your words in belief, not fear, you are reprogramming the path ahead. You're telling your mind, I am ready. You're telling the world, I will be heard. You're telling your future, I'm already becoming the person I was meant to be. And here's the most powerful truth of all. You don't need to be famous. You don't need a stage. You don't need a crowd. All you need is the courage to use your voice. Use it when no one's clapping. Use it when doubt is loud. Use it when fear says stay quiet. Because the moment you speak truth into the silence, something shifts. Something wakes up. Something changes. The right word at the right moment can save a dream. It can restore someone's hope. It can pull you back from the edge. And sometimes the person who needs your voice the most is you. So don't wait for permission. Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for the fear to go away. Speak anyway. Speak with fire. Speak with faith. Speak with love. Because leadership doesn't begin when others follow. It begins the moment you choose to show up, fully, honestly, and powerfully. Your voice is not just for others. It's the bridge back to you. So speak. Not someday, not later, now. Because when you unlock your voice, you unlock your life.